Tales of the Lore Keeper, Episode 4, The Black Painting. Written, voiced, and produced by Jojo Kaiser. Oh, sorry. I thought my ticket said cabin 34. It probably does. This isn't a private cabin. Oh, yeah, it does. Thank you. It's a lot of notebooks. Are you a writer? Of sorts. What do you write? The stories people feel they can tell no one else for fear of being judged.
Do you charge?
No.
Well, we got a while till the train stops. Mind if I get something out of my head?
Go for it.
Right. Thanks. I've always had a passion for art. It's one of those things where people say, been doing it as long as I can remember, but this was longer than I can remember. Mom still has my art projects from when I was a baby. Little handprints and random splashes when she would let me play with non-toxic paints. By the time I was in middle school, I was considered a prodigy. And at 18, I got to sell my works to a pretty famous art gallery. It was called the Van Ritz out in Los Angeles. I got to travel there on a full paid trip. Me and my girlfriend at the time, Melina, went, and there I met Ariana Scorch, a stunning abstract artist. She was like a walking Da Vinci masterpiece, tall, regal. She was older, but I like my women older. Silly thing to say when I just mentioned I had a girlfriend at the time, but I promise by the end of this, that'll be the last thing on your mind. Anyway, the gallery was fantastic. It was like something out of a Disney fairy tale almost. Me and Melina dressed to the nines. There was waiters and high-class people. The music was smooth jazz and the light touches of classical tones. It was magical. The owner of the gallery, Mr. Van Drossen, introduced me to Melina and many people, which of course included Miss Ariana. For the entire night, we laughed, we danced. The memory will never fade. We looked at wonderful pieces, and at one point, I'm not sure when, I lost sight of Melina. That's when I felt a light touch on my shoulder. Wonderful night tonight we're having, isn't it, Stephen? It was Ariana. Yes, I managed to choke out. Her beauty was one that made me so nervous. No, it wasn't just her beauty. It was her presence. She radiated the energy of royalty, of power. Have you ever seen somebody who takes your breath away just by existing? I was in a bit of a daze as she walked me around the gallery, showing me all the different paintings and telling me of the artists behind them. We talked for hours, and by the end of the night, I found myself standing next to her on a balcony. The cool night air was the perfect temperature. The wine was starting to get to my head a bit. I know, underage drinking, but what are you going to do? What is the rules for the poor, not the rules for the rich, I guess. Before I knew it, she kissed me. And I kissed back. My God, it was unlike anything I'd ever felt. I swear, my feet came off the ground. My heart raced. I thought the stars shone a tad brighter. And afterwards, she smiled softly against my lips as she moved to my ear and she whispered, "Don't lose it now," as she slipped a paper into my shirt pocket. Her number. She then caressed my, and she left. I went back downstairs and found a rather bored Melina listening to some old man. "Oh, Stephen, thank God. Let's go home, please." So we did. Mr. Van Drossen ordered us a cab back home, but not before handing me a check. Apparently, my painting had sold for over $15,000. I was flabbergasted. I asked who the buyer was, and he said not to concern myself with such things. I took his word for it and went home to paint some more. Over the next year, I kept in touch with Ariana. Occasionally, she would come visit me, and on one or two occasions, we would, well, it was amazing. I felt like such a champ. I was a young 18-year-old stud able to keep two beautiful women at the same time. Eventually, I was able to sell a second painting to Mr. Van Drazen, and this time for $25,000. And I used that money to move into a studio apartment downtown, right across from the gallery. I threw a housewarming party. So many people came. I thought I was going to get a noise complaint from the neighbors, but turns out noise complaints don't matter because Mr. Van Drassen owned that building. From what I gathered, he owned a lot of buildings. And of course, Ariana was there. She was a masterpiece. She wore this tight black dress with silver glitter. Her hair was adorned in long braids, and her lips spouted this dark red lipstick. I knew I'd have to find some time to slip away with her tonight. Of course, now that I was in the city, it was much easier for us to meet. It was strange, though. And of course, now I know why. She had brought something with her. She called it a housewarming gift. But what she handed me, it took all I had to not look disappointed. It was a black painting. Just a normal canvas painted completely black. It didn't even have a frame, for God's sakes. But I took it, kissed her on the cheek, and went to hang it up on the wall. She told me it'd look better if I hung it at eye level. I honestly wanted to throw the damn thing away, but I knew she'd be at the apartment more than just tonight, so I did as she suggested. Hung it on the wall at eye level. The rest of the night went without incident, and at the end of it, once the guests were gone, and Melina had fallen asleep, I snuck out to meet Ariana at dinner. We had raw sex in the back of her car, and I went back upstairs to sleep next to Melina. The next few months went by in a blur. The thing that anyone with common sense could see coming happened. Melina came home early one day, caught me in bed with Ariana. We fought, broke up, and I paid her way back home. And then something was weird. Sometimes, late at night, I'd hear a child's voice.
Feed me. Play with me. Keep me company.
I never saw the child. I only ever heard the voice. Anyway, Ariana started coming around a little bit less after Melina and I broke up. And then one day she sent me a text message. And it just said two words. I'm free. I never heard from her again. She never messaged me again. She never called me. After that, I was pretty much alone. Mr. Van Drassen would buy my paintings, but I would only see him every few months. And I can't remember how long it was till I gained a conscious mind. I spent so long in a daze of drugs, drinking, strange women, and a few men, to be honest with you. But during that time, that child's voice, it never went away. And then, sometimes, late at night, after a session of sex and drugs, I could swear I'd hear the voice cheer. I'd always wake up the next morning alone, all of the clothes and belongings of the person I was with gone, but something never felt right. I lived off my paintings. Thankfully, the talent never faded with the constant lack of sobriety, and neither did the money. It wasn't long before I was able to move out of the studio and into a large condo. The move was the first time I'd really had a grip on reality. I was packing up my place, getting ready to move, and while I noticed I had never took that painting down. Well, I didn't really need it anymore. Ariana wasn't coming around, and I no longer needed to attempt to placate her feelings, so I left it there, on the wall of my old apartment, all alone. But as I walked away, started to close the door, I swear to you, stranger, I swear I heard the voice of a small child.
Please. Please stay.
I paid it no mind. I left the apartment quickly and I moved into my condo. I set up the living room to be my new studio, and slowly but surely I quit the drugs, and then the alcohol. And then one day, I ran into Melina. She was working out as a barista in a local coffee shop in my new neighborhood. She didn't want to talk to me at first, understandable, but after a few days, I did manage to get her to talk to me. She called me vile things, all well-deserved. And after she was done, I asked her if we could start over. And to my surprise, she said yes. We went on a few dates, I became completely sober, and one night, I asked her back to my home. And what I saw on the wall of my bedroom damn near made me scream. There, plain as day, was the black painting. And then the child's voice.
Oh, you've brought me food. Thank you, Stephen. I was getting very hungry.
I stumbled back, but Melina did not. She started walking forward. I tried to pull her away, but it was like she was so strong. She was in a daze. I called out to her, but it fell on deaf ears. And then to my horror, in front of my eyes, from out of the painting came two large hands, each adorned with 3 fingers. They grabbed Melina by the shoulders, buried their nails into her. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She was simply dragged inside. And as I watched her body get swallowed by the void, I saw many faces appear, as if through a foggy window. They were all twisted in terror, and I recognized almost none of them. But one I did. Ariana. And as the black color began to wash back over, I heard that small child's voice again.
Thank you, Stephen. We're going to be together forever.
The train ride went by fairly quickly after that. Mr. Stephen wept until he fell asleep. After we got off the train, he thanked me for my time, said it was nice to tell someone, and walked away. I do not know if Mr. Stephen knew it, if he purposely took it with him, or if it was truly a curse. But sticking out of his backpack, I could see the edges of a dark, black painting. The Lore Keeper is a series of short stories that I have written and narrate myself to upload on this channel every single Tuesday. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, and while these videos don't do the best, it is a very big passion project of mine. At some point, I do hope to release not only a merch line, but also get these all together for an audiobook for you guys. Clean up the audio a bit and maybe re-narrate some of the stories. But if you enjoyed this, the best way to support me is, of course, to subscribe to the channel and like this content, and share it with anybody that you know that likes horror stories. Other than that, I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Tuesday with a brand new entry. Thank you.